Across the country and around the world, across the street and around the corner, this is Over the Culture. This is Over the Culture podcast, where you get to hear my spin on things I like music, sports entertainment, movies, TV shows, and your mom. You also get to hear about things I don't like strife. And I'm your Bastard of Ceremonies, the one gig kid, Pat Stay Black, Alex Treblack, Reefer Sutherland, Luke Fly Talker, the most interesting blurred in podcasting, the troller of trolls, the Prince of Petty, Steve G. It's July 25th, 2021. And man, strife. Is that you? Long time no see, fella. Not long enough, though. Yeah, strife, we meet again. But you know what? You know something about strife? That's life. Shit happens. Shit that you can't control happens, and it's about how we respond to it. It's about our reaction. The things that we can control. From the Department of the Redundancy Department, I know I've said this several times on this show, but it's something I'm really trying to practice. It's been about going on 3 weeks without my car. It's just been left in limbo. And you lose money. You lose a lot more money when you don't have your car, because that's Ubers, that's Lyfts, that's DoorDashes, Uber Eats, delivery taxes, delivery fee, gratuity. Yes, I want cheese on that, goddammit. Might as well get a milkshake. But yeah. I got the notification. The mechanic told me today that he'll be finished, and it seems like he is. While I was at work, he finished up whatever the fuck he had to do, and unfortunately I couldn't pick it up, so I'm gonna have to wait, it looks like, till tomorrow, because I'm not trying to go out in the rain. Like, as I'm on my way home, it just starts pouring down, so I'm not trying to die. It's about a half-hour drive from here to there, and it's the evening. This is a late edition once again because I had to work, and usually my recording studio for this show is in my car. Usually if I'm scheduled for work, I'll go in the car and do what I gotta do. But that's another thing, so I had to wait until I was done with my shift today to even start recording. But it is what it is. Strife, I know we'll see each other again, you son of a bitch. Congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks. I didn't think they'd do it. They didn't look like a championship roster, not even on paper. And I like Drew Holiday. Chris Middleton has definitely showed up. Stepped up big time. That is the obvious big three right there. And Giannis, and Antetokounmpo, yeah. With the 50 piece, I love the pettiness. Drop the 50 piece. With Popeye's biscuits for everybody. 2. Everybody get 2. Got enough for the town. 50 piece in the closeout game. That's historic. Bravo, Giannis. Bravo. He's a problem. I just don't like the form of his jump shot. It's like a toad. It's like a toad jump shot. Like he bends his knees all the way down and he's gangly and it just looks really awkward. But hey, they won the championship. And I don't want to put an asterisk on this victory of theirs, but I will say it's a sluggish league this time around. It was a sluggish league. A lot of people are saying that about the Phoenix Suns and how they made it out the West. because the league is sluggish right now. The off-kilter season. I mean, nagging injuries from star players. Don't want to undermine the Phoenix Suns. They have a great young roster. Who knows what happens with CP3? Where will he go? Speaking of basketball, I don't want to watch this year's Olympics. When I was a kid, I gave a fuck about different events, but as I get older, it's like, man, I just really got time for hoops. And what's the point of watching that now this year? We're not sending out our best. LeBron, AD, Steph, Clay with a K, Kyrie, Kawhi. Is Harden on the team? I don't know. We already lost to Nigeria. We just lost to France. And those people I named, that's about more than half of our roster. We didn't send out our best. That's what made the Dream Team so special. The 08 Redemption Team so special. No one in the world was going to stop that team in 08. There's no one that could stop that team from 92, the Dream Team. You can mix and match any athlete, whatever. You can throw the Monstars on top of it. But we sent out the best America had to offer at that time. 2021, not so much. But I get it. I don't want to make any excuses, though, because we're still USA. We're supposed to be the stable. Their best players come over here and make money. Our players go over there after we retire, before we retire. But the world's catching up with us. They've grown on to our schemes. And everyone wants Popovich out. He's still the GOAT. The man can't go out there and play ball with him. He's the coach. Still don't want to make any excuses. We're USA. Shouldn't have lost to Nigeria. Shouldn't have lost to France. Either way, I don't really care to watch anymore. Go America. You go America. I just saw Space Jam 1 for the first time from beginning to end. I just saw it last night. And, it's kind of what I expected. I could see the appeal it could have in 95, 96 when it came out. The soundtrack is a classic. So, like I said before, it's probably good that I never seen the original. Because now I'm going to watch the second one. I watched the first one last night. I'm watching the second one tonight. And motherfuckers act like Michael Jordan put on a Denzel performance in that movie. He was Michael Jordan, being Michael Jordan, doing what he was told by Ivan Reitman and stirring some Looney Tunes characters. And I'm imagining they probably did the same thing with LeBron James. Hey, you're LeBron James. Do this. Okay, now you're going to catch an alley-oop from Marvin the Martian. Man, it fucking sucks, man. It's LeBron. But I did enjoy Space Jam. Cleveland finally has a new name for their baseball team, the Cleveland Guardians. And to me, at first, I was appalled. It was too Stan Lee for me. It was too Stan Lee. But the backstory I got was it's based off of these stone bridges or whatever that protected the city way back in the early 20th or 19th century. It's like, you could have done better, though. I mean, it's no Houston Texans. Jeez, get me started on that. But, hey, It was time for a change. The time, it was past due. It was past due to change that name. There's a demographic of people from this country, originally from this country, and they feel a certain way seeing those faces on jerseys, on ball caps, on t-shirts. I mean, shit. I'd be pissed if there was a team called the Indianapolis Niggers. And, you know, the logo is some dark purple dude face with these fucking watermelon seeds coming out of his big fucking pink lips. I'd be fucking severely humiliated. Get this shit out of here. What the fuck? Can you imagine going to a game seeing some shit like that? Imagine how they fucking feel. So here we are, the Cleveland Guardians. And I do like that look, the G. Real motherfucking G shit. Got to get that hat. Now, I don't fuck with the current WWF or WWE product. They had their pay-per-view last Sunday, Money in the Bank. And I heard John Cena's back. And man, anyone who knows me knows I fucks with the Cenas. There's a lot of people who don't fuck with him, and it's just an irrational. I don't understand it. He's a good guy. I feel like society, we're at this point where if someone's a genuinely good person, that's enough of a reason to hate him. Enough of a reason to dislike him. We've grown so prone to just hold the anti-hero in such high reverence. It's cool to like not all the way be good, but that's his character. That's John Cena. He does good shit. He's like number one in granting the Make-A-Wish Foundation wishes. Out of all the celebrities before him, he's granted the most wishes to those sick children. How can you boo that? That right there makes him a champion. That makes him a hero. And he's back in the mix with Vince. So now I gotta watch. On my other show, happened in the 90s. On the last episode, we were talking about Woodstock 99. And at the time, Woodstock 99 had all of the top artists. Rage Against the Machine, Limp Bizkit, Korn, DMX, Ice Cube, Seven Dust, The Roots. Some heavy hitters on different stages. And I remember it having a pay-per-view, and MTV would even have some footage. Some of the performances were on MTV. And there were chicks walking around with the titties out, titty nibbles showing. And in my lifetime, I always told people that is the concert, that is the event that I would love to attend. I was a huge fan of Limp Bizkit, a huge fan of Korn, Ice Cube, DMX, Seven, all of those people I named, The Offspring, Bush, Metallica. It's that concert and the Wu-Tang Rage Against the Machine tour in 97. Those two right there. But upon further investigation, I don't think the same anymore about Woodstock 99. Now, it's great to see these performances on YouTube, on TV, but as a realist, knowing me, I know I wouldn't enjoy being around all of those frat bros. Because if you look at the footage of Woodstock 99, it's a lot of under the influence white guys, like college white boys. And just on the smaller scale of what I experienced in Bowling Green, a regular schmegular 4-year college in everyday town, USA, Midwest America. Just from those little keggers and all those little hole in the wall bars, just being around drunk frat bros. Oh my goodness. I think it would ruin my enjoyment of the performances. It would overshadow that. And there's a documentary on Woodstock 99. It's available on HBO Max. And it's called Woodstock 99, Peace, Love, and Rage. Very interesting, in-depth look at that event. You know, there were some women that got raped. There were not a lot, but there were some fatalities at this event. A lot of people got hypothermia. It's just the temperature was about 110 degrees. It was a 3-day event, and it actually started. The first day was on July 22nd in 1999. So that was the Thursday. So it really went from Thursday through Sunday. But if you were there from Friday, or even if you were there for that weekend when Limp Bizkit performed and Metallica performed, I mean, that would have been just too much. I mean, people saw shit and mixed in with mud just everywhere. People were starting bonfires that were blowing up like parts of the stage. Just insane shit. And they talked about how it was basically the complete opposite of the original Woodstock. All of the meanings and the reasonings behind the original Woodstock, all of those things, like, those kids didn't give a fuck about. It was MTV Brofest, basically. But me and Matt, we talk about that in depth on Happened in the 90s, our previous episode, July 22nd in the 90s, yeah. But all things July 25th, in 1965, Bob Dylan is booed by sections of the crowd at Newport Folk Festival for performing with an electric guitar. It's the beginning of folk rock. Now, this is well before my time, and both of my parents were 1 year old each. But apparently, when I hear about this, it was a big deal at the time. In 1975, David Bowie releases the album Fame, R.I.P. In 1983, Metallica released their debut studio album, Kill 'Em All, since hailed as a groundbreaking release for the burgeoning thrash metal genre. What a classic. A lot of those traditionalists, not even traditionalists, but the purists, the Metallica metal purists, it's real common for them to say, oh man, they sucked after Kill 'Em All, or they sucked after Master of Puppets, or they sucked after Justice for All. I mean, shut up. I like all of it. Happy anniversary, Kill 'Em All. In 1986, Two Live Crew releases that Two Live Crew is what we are. And in 1989, Beastie Boys released Paul's Boutique. A slept-on classic. It's very unconventional. And on that same day, EPMD released Unfinished Business, You Gots to Chill. In 1990, Roseanne Barr sings that horrible national anthem at the Cincinnati Reds San Diego Padres MLB game. In 1993, Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher premieres. In 1997, Air Force One and Good Burger premieres. In 2001, Mariah Carey checks into a hospital for what a spokesperson terms extreme exhaustion. Carey had exhibited several incidents of bizarre behavior during the previous week, including performing a strange striptease during an unscheduled visit to MTV's Total Request Live and posting a rambling message on her website in which she wrote, "I don't know what's going on with life." Does anyone, Mariah? Does any? In 2006, Pharrell Williams releases his solo debut, In My Mind. In 2008, Step Brothers premieres in theaters. Classic. And in 2018, Georgian Representative James Spencer resigns after being fooled into saying racial slurs on Sacha Baron Cohen's Who is America TV series. Very nice. High five. But more importantly, in 1995, on July 25th, Bone Thugs-n-Harmony released the album E.1999 Eternal. And what a classic. An instant classic. A part of my soundtrack of the summer of 95. First of the month, Crossroads, E.1999, all of that. One of the greatest hip-hop albums of the 90s. One of the greatest hip-hop albums ever. It's my favorite Bone album. I like the one before that, Creeping on the Come Up. But this one, this is the one. This is the one that made Bradley and Oliver out in Perrysburg, Ohio, fuck with Bone. This is what made Hillary and Ashley have their parents drop them off at Sam Goody so they can get this shit. This is the one. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Yeah. Today in sports history, in 1949, St. Louis Cardinals Stan Musial hits for the cycle, beating the Brooklyn Dodgers 14-1. In 1961, Roger Maris hits home runs 37, 38, 39, and 40 in a doubleheader. In 1966, Yankee manager Casey Stengel is elected to the Hall of Fame. In 1972, the 43rd MLB All-Star Game is held at Atlanta Stadium. The National League beats the American League 4-3, and the MVP is Joe Morgan, R.I.P. In 1978, Cincinnati Red Pete Rose sets the National League record of hitting in 38 consecutive games. In 1990, Kansas City Royal George Brett hits for the cycle. In 1990, Roseanne Barr sings the national anthem at the Cincinnati Reds San Diego Padres MLB game. In 1991, Seattle Mariner Jay Buhner hits a 479-foot home run in Yankee Stadium. And on that same day, Pittsburgh Steelers guard Terry Long is treated for an apparent suicide attempt after he learned he tested positive for steroid use. In 1997, quarterback Brett Favre re-signs with the Green Bay Packers for $50 million for 7 years. And that was my half-assed sports report. Coming up, I'm going to go over the album E.1999 Eternal, released by the Bone Thugs in 1995 on this day. We'll be back after these messages. In today's birthdays for July 25th, happy 50th birthday to American NBA forward from the Toronto Raptors, the Washington Wizards, and a champion at one point with the Houston Rockets, Tracy Murray. Turning 52 today is American NBA guard John Barry. Turning 54 today is American actress Wendy Raquel Robinson, and she wears it well. Also turning 54 from that dumbass show is American actor Matt LeBlanc. How you doing? Shut up. Dominican baseball player Jose Bautista turns 57 today. And happy 65th birthday to Somalian English model and actress Iman. Miss Trinidad if you're nasty. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. You know what that means, right? You pay nothing. It's free 99. It's a free app that you put on your phone, and it lets you go from there. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Check out Anchor.
Straight legged, you could be the cigarillo roller. Is I right with my dick sun tight, kinda roga. Clutch like Reggie when he played for the Pacers. I'm loud on the mic, Petros, Papadakis. Like Warren G and Nate, I'm a regulator. My tracks bum more than the faces of 8th graders. Bust through your bubble, your space is invaded. Climb to the top like the spot's vacated. I just wanna win like Madden with the Raiders. Lasorda with the Dodgers, Raleigh with the Lakers. Glide through the sky like Clyde with the Blazers. Plus I'm inspired by the 36 chambers. General Steve G and Major Just Capers. Rock version of Willis Reed and Walt Frazier. C on the cap for the Cincinnati Reds. Old school rock the black Nike Cortez.
Going upstate's my destination, the nation. Going upstate's my destination, the nation. Going upstate's my destination, the nation. Going upstate's my destination, nation. Going upstate's my destination, the nation. Going upstate's my destination, the nation. Going upstate's my destination, the nation. Going upstate's my destination, nation.
Straight legged, and y'all can never get it mistaken. I'm staying on point like that boy Gary Payton. Y'all sloppy, need a beer band and apron. Here to make moves, stop contemplating. You got your eyes on them Benjamin Franklins, making transactions through the online banking. Pennies in the piggy bank, tell us why you really hating. Fuck that, turn them piggies into bacon. Rolling like Dayton's, rolling like Dubs. Ninjas give me dap when I be up in the club. Bitches wanna dance and her booty getting rubbed, and the only ring she getting is the one around the tub. Chick named Brenda, ass so tender, but she turn around looking like the toxic Avenger. I'm sorry Brenda, hated to offend ya, but I'm straight looking like Lou Alcindor.
Going upstate's my destination, the nation. Going upstate's my destination, the nation. Going upstate's my destination, the nation. Going upstate's my destination, nation. Going upstate's my destination, the nation. Going upstate's my destination, the nation. Going upstate's my destination, the nation. Going upstate's my destination, nation.
And a special mention to those no longer with us. Just yesterday, we lost American stand-up comedian and film and television actor Jackie Mason. Born Yakov Mosh Hakohen Maza on June 9, 1928 in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, he was known for his political satire and his observational comedy. His 1986 one-man show, The World According to Me, won a special Tony Award, an Outer Critics Circle Award, an ACE Award, an Emmy Award, and earned a Grammy nomination. Later, his 1988 special, Jackie Mason on Broadway, won another Emmy Award and another ACE Award, and his 1991 voiceover of Rabbi Hyman Krastovsky in The Simpsons episode Like Father, Like Clown won Mason a third Emmy Award. He wrote and performed 6 one-man shows on Broadway. Known for his delivery and voice, as well as his use of innuendo and pun, Mason's often culturally grounded humor was described as irreverent and sometimes politically incorrect. A critic for Time magazine wrote that throughout his career, Mason spoke to audiences with the Yiddish locutions of an immigrant who just completed a course in English, by mail. Mason died on July 24, 2021, at Mount Sinai Hospital in Manhattan after being hospitalized for over 2 weeks. Brad Renfrow was an American actor. Born Brad Barron Renfrow on July 25, 1982 in Knoxville, Tennessee, he would make his film debut at the age of 11 with a starring role in The Client in 1994 and went on to appear in 21 feature films and won several awards. Prior to being cast in The Client, Renfrow had no acting background and was living with his grandmother in a trailer park. Director Joel Schumacher wanted to cast a tough kid who had the necessary life experience to understand the character he would portray. Renfrow soon attracted a large fan base as he continued to star in the movies like Tom and Huck and Sleepers. Beginning in the late 1990s, Renfrow had difficulties in his private life, including a series of arrests and stints in drug treatment. And on January 15, 2008, Renfrow was found dead in his Los Angeles apartment. He was 25 years old. His body was returned to Tennessee, where he was buried on January 22, 2008, at Red House Cemetery in the small community of Blaine, Tennessee. The Los Angeles County Coroner's Office ruled his death accidental and attributed it to acute heroin and morphine intoxication. Walter Payton was an American professional football player who was a running back for the Chicago Bears of the National Football League. Born Walter Jerry Payton on July 25, 1954 in Columbia, Mississippi, he is regarded as one of the greatest football players of all time. A 9-time Pro Bowl selectee, Payton is remembered as a prolific rusher, once holding records for career rushing yards, touchdowns, carries, yards from scrimmage, all-purpose yards, and many other categories. He was also versatile and retired with the most receptions by a non-receiver and had 8 career touchdown passes. He was elected into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1993, the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame that same year, and the College Football Hall of Fame in 1996. He was named to the NFL's 75th Anniversary All-Time Team in 1994 and the NFL 100th Anniversary All-Time Team in 2019. Hall of Fame NFL player and coach Mike Dicker described Payton as the greatest football player he had ever seen, but even greater as a human being. Payton began his football career in Mississippi and went on to have an outstanding collegiate football career at Jackson State University, where he was an All-American. He started his professional career with Chicago Bears in 1975, who selected him with that year's 4th overall draft pick. Payton proceeded to win the 1977 Most Valuable Player Award and won Super Bowl 20 with the 1985 Chicago Bears. He retired from football at the end of the 1987 season, having rushed for at least 1,200 yards in 10 of his 13 seasons in the NFL. In February 1999, Payton announced that he had a rare liver disease known as primary sclerosing cholangitis, which may have led to his cancer. He spent his final months as an advocate for organ transplants, appearing in many commercials to encourage others to donate organs. Although by the time his first appeal was recorded, his illness was already too far advanced for transplantation to have been a viable option. In April of that year, Payton made a final public appearance at a Chicago Cubs game with Mike Ditka, where he threw the game's ceremonial first pitch. On November 1st, 1999, Payton died from the complications that arose from his illness. He was 45 years old. During the same week, the NFL held special ceremonies in each game to commemorate his career and legacy. In addition, the Chicago Bears wore special number 34 patches on their jerseys to honor Payton. His body was cremated after his death. Emmett Till was a 14-year-old African-American who was lynched in Mississippi after being accused of offending a white woman in her family's grocery store. The brutality of his murder and the fact that his killers were acquitted drew attention to the long history of violent persecution of African-Americans in the United States. Born Emmett Louis Till on July 25, 1941, in Chicago, Illinois, he would posthumously become an icon of the civil rights movement. During summer vacation in August 1955, he was visiting relatives near Money, Mississippi, in the Mississippi Delta region. He spoke to 21-year-old Carolyn Bryant, the white married proprietor of a small grocery store there. Although what happened at the store is a matter of dispute, Till was accused of flirting with or whistling at Bryant. Till's interaction with Bryant, perhaps unwittingly, violated the unwritten code of behavior for a black male interacting with a white female in the Jim Crow-era South. Several nights after the incident in the store, Bryant's husband, Roy, and his half-brother, J.W. Milam, were armed when they went to Till's great-uncle's house and abducted Emmett. They took him away and beat and mutilated him before shooting him in the head and sinking his body in the Tallahatchie River. 3 days later, Till's body was discovered and retrieved from the river. Till's body was returned to Chicago, where his mother insisted on a public funeral service with an open casket, which was held at Robert's Temple, Church of God in Christ. It was later said that the open coffin funeral held by Mammy Till Bradley exposed the world to more than her son Emmett Till's bloated, mutilated body. Her decision focused attention not only on U.S. racism and the barbarism of lynching, but also on the limitations and vulnerabilities of American democracy. Tens of thousands attended his funeral or viewed his open casket, and images of his mutilated body were published in black-oriented magazines and newspapers, rallying popular black support and white sympathy across the U.S. Intense scrutiny was brought to bear on the black civil rights in Mississippi, with newspapers around the U.S. critical of the state. Although local newspapers and law enforcement officials initially decried the violence against Till and called for justice, they responded to national criticism by defending Mississippians, temporarily giving support to the killers. In September 1955, an all-white jury found Bryant and Milam not guilty of Till's kidnapping and murder. Protected against double jeopardy, the two men publicly admitted in a 1956 interview with Look magazine that they had killed Till. Till's murder was seen as a catalyst for the next phase of the civil rights movement. In December 1955, the Montgomery Bus Boycott began in Alabama and lasted more than a year, resulting eventually in a U.S. Supreme Court ruling that segregated buses were unconstitutional. According to historians, events surrounding Emmett Till's life and death continue to resonate. Some writers have suggested that almost every story about Mississippi returns to Till, or the Delta region in which he died. Nate Thurman was an American basketball player, born July 25, 1941 in Akron, Ohio. He spent majority of his 14-year career with the Golden State Warriors franchise. He played the center and power forward positions. Thurman was a 7-time All-Star and the first player in NBA history to record an official quadruple-double. In 1965, he grabbed 42 rebounds in a game. Only Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell recorded more rebounds in an NBA game. Thurman was named both a member of the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame and one of the 50 greatest players in NBA history. Known to fans as Nate the Great, Thurman had his number 42 jersey retired by the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Thurman died on July 16, 2016, 9 days away from his 75th birthday after a short battle with leukemia. During the 2016-2017 season, the Warriors paid homage to Thurman by patching his number to their jerseys. Rest easy, y'all. On this day in 1995, the album E.1999 Eternal was released. E.1999 Eternal is the second studio album by American hip-hop group Bone Thugs-n-Harmony, released by Ruthless Records. The album was released 4 months after the death of rapper Eazy-E, the group's mentor and executive producer of the album. Both the album and single, The Crossroads, are dedicated to him. Following up on the surprise success of their breakthrough single, Thuggish Ruggish Bone, it became a popular album and received positive reviews from music critics, earning praise for the group's melodic rapping style. The album title was a portmanteau of Cleveland's East Side neighborhood, centering on East 99th Street and St. Clair Avenue, where the group is based, and then future year 1999. The album sold 307,000 copies in the first week. East 1999 Eternal became the group's best-selling album, with 4 million copies sold in the United States. It topped the U.S. Billboard 200 for 2 consecutive weeks. The album was nominated for the inaugural Grammy Award for Best Rap Album, ultimately losing to Naughty by Nature's Poverty's Paradise at the 1996 Grammy Awards. In 2015, the group toured in support of the 20th anniversary of the album, performing in its entirety for the first time. Upon release, East 1999 Eternal was met with critical acclaim. Chio H. Coker of the Los Angeles Times wrote that the group has raised the stakes of the gangsta rap game, not only in terms of pure, gritty excess, but also in rhyme style, cadence, and delivery, concluding, "This is the kind of album that starts out good and gets better with repeated listenings, as the dark, subliminal references clear up. Easily one of the most worthwhile rap purchases of the year." Retrospectively, Jason Birchmeier of AllMusic described East 1999 Eternal as an impressive debut full-length that dismisses any notion that the group was merely a one-hit wonder, adding that it maintains a consistent tone, one that's menacing and somber, produced entirely by DJ Unique, a Los Angeles-based producer who frames the songs with dark, smoked-out G-funk beats and synth melodies. The Source held East 1999 Eternal as one of the top 100 rap albums of the 1990s. In a Second Thought review in Stylist magazine, the album was described as lyrically speaking, Bone Thugs have much in common with countless mainstream rap acts. The themes running through East 1999 Eternal are familiar. Drugs, violent crime, and death make regular appearances. It's the manner in which the lyrics are framed and delivered that makes the group such a bizarre proposition. Bone Thugs had a melodic flow, frequently delivered in unison, that bordered on singing. They could rap together at a lightning-fast pace without losing their sweetness. Stylist also praised producer DJ Unique for his production style on the album, stating that the album was entirely produced by DJ Unique, although he did collaborate on some tracks, endowing cohesiveness to the unique Bone Thugs sound. Unique was, like the vocal group members of Bone Thugs, unorthodox in the rap field. It wouldn't be far off to describe him as a songwriter as well as a producer. He was always keen to flesh out interesting sounds, usually based around rumbling piano chords, mellotron, and synthesized strings. Yet the focus was largely on songcraft and melody. The album frequently strays into gloomy territory, but never loses its sense of tunefulness. The beats were not particularly striking, usually low-key and sluggish, but the album's strengths are not rhythm-related. From the introduction to East 1999, Eternal, Crept and We Came, Down 71, Mr. Bill Collector, Bud Smokers Only, Crossroads, Land of the Heartless, No Shorts or Losses, First of the Month, Buddha Lovers, Die Die Die, Mo Murda, Happy Anniversary, East 1999, Eternal. Boom, 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 boom. So that wraps up another edition of Over the Culture podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Please make sure to check out my other show, Happened in the 90s. Me and Matt this week were talking about Beverly Hills 90210. for the first time and probably the last time. And also check out our sister show, Crushgasm. This most recent episode, Kendra is actually interviewing me, talking about my celebrity crushes, Ashley Banks and Lisa Turtle. Y'all be cool. Peace.